if you want to get current Russian state news, kind of propaganda, Russian state propaganda news, that in this case you need to turn in to the most important news report of the day. That is channel number one's, the first channel, it's called in Russia, 9 p.m. news report called The Times. The Times is a few decades old. It was born way back in the USSR, and it's still being used on Russia's TV. And this is, if you want to get a gist of what they want you to believe into, you turn into channel number one. They give you the news they want you to believe that are important. Well, let's take a look at the highlights of today's news report, The Times. 9 p.m., the most important news program of the day. News number one. The doctors in Belgorod region performed a unique surgery. Wearing bulletproof vests, they performed a surgery on a soldier with an not exploded grenade, live grenade inside of him. And I guess they cut out the grenade and everything went fine. That's actually an act of heroism. That's news number one in Russia, the most important news for the entire country. Second news, and that's the order as the news appeared in the news program. Again, the most important news program of the day. News number two. The scenes of Ukrainians shelling Donbass. Also the scenes of Russian Marines, of a real battle, Russian Marines fighting neo-Nazis. News number three. Vladimir Putin addressed Russian policemen saying congratulations. Today is Russian Policeman Day. Russian Police Day. News number four. Russian government had a large online meeting discussing different initiatives, including aid to regular Russian people, helping with food, with certain categories of people who don't make much money, so financial aid to the people. News number five. The USA. Georgia will decide the fate of the Senate for the next 2 years. Who will be in charge, the Democrats or the Republicans? Also, in the same news, there's a new scandal in the United States. The elections reveal that there are some dead voters' votes used. News number six. There was a huge heist at the Moscow airport Domodedovo. $4 million was stolen. Well, I guess police was too busy listening to Vladimir Putin's address that it kind of overlooked the heist at the Moscow Domodedovo airport. News number seven. Russian President's Aid Foundation helping Russian children was shown. And news number 8, Russian Make-A-Wish Foundation for the upcoming Christmas and New Year started. So I've given you 8 news, and that's the only things that appeared in the news, in the most important news report today on Russian TV, and the most important Russian channel. Now, there's a little tiny news that actually was not told about, but it didn't go unnoticed in Russia. Oh no, it's just somehow, perhaps somebody made a mistake. Yeah, just tiny news. The news people at the Times, they decided it's not really important. It's not even needed to be told to the Russians. It's a previous day, November 9th, yesterday, Sergei Shoigu, the Minister of Defense, ordered Russian troops to leave Kherson behind. Big deal, right? That happens every day. It's definitely not big enough of a news to be shown at the Times. Howdy, everyone. My name is Konstantin. This is Inside Russia. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming. I'm giving you updates on what happens in Russia, the latest news, the developments, my opinions, my takes. And today I'm going to be talking about a very serious issue, very important for Russia, for Ukraine, for the conflict, and perhaps for the world. This is just, I don't know whether I should laugh, I should cry, what should I do? Russia has left Kherson behind. Now, if you're unaware of the situation, if you don't know what Kherson is, just very short summary. Kherson is a large city in the south, in Ukraine, not too far from Odessa. If you look at the map, it's going to be in the central Ukraine in the south. Okay, it's located on the right bank of the Dnieper River, and it's it's the only major city that was taken by the Russian troops in Ukraine since the start of Russia attacking Ukraine in February. Kherson was one of the first cities, the only major city fallen, but it happened quick. Early March, I believe 2nd of March, Kherson was already controlled by Russian troops. Kherson was an important symbol that Russia advances so easily into Ukraine. Kherson was a very important strategical point. If you look at the map, you will see it's a gateway to the rest of Ukraine. Kherson was the first city where Russian flag was raised above mayorat office in mid-March, and I made a stream about that. I found it so important because Vladimir Putin days before said Russia is not about land grabbing from Ukraine. Russia is about two things. We're fighting Nazis, we're denazifying Ukraine, and we are demilitarizing. No way we need Ukrainian land. This is not a land grab, his own words. And then, days after, there was a Russian flag above the most important government building in Kherson, okay? I made the stream about that. It's still online. Anyway. Kherson had been under Russian occupation, I don't know how to call it, under Russian control until September 30th. Until yesterday, really. But on the September 30th, Russian president announced that Russia was annexing 4 provinces of Ukraine, including Kherson. Yesterday, Russian troops left Kherson behind. And to me, this is huge. This is absolutely huge. Not only it's worth to be in the Times news report, but it's worth to be discussed. It's worth to be the biggest main topic of discussion everywhere, because this is huge. And this is why I think this is huge. Four main reasons, I think. This is the hugely important military maneuver. Again, I don't know what the right word of this thing is. Military push of Ukraine or military retreat of Russia or maneuver or anyway, happenings. Very important action. That it shows that Ukraine is gaining advantage. Ukraine is pushing. Ukraine is strong, relentless. It's fighting to get the land back. And Kherson is the first major point. It's obvious that Ukrainians are not going to stop. And the fall of Kherson shows that, or the retreat of Kherson, again, I don't know what to use as the right word. It shows that pretty much what the outcome of this campaign that Russia started in February will be. So that's importance number one, numero uno. The second is, this is a huge, huge blast to Russia's credibility. Okay, please don't throw rocks into me. I don't know what kind of credibility Russia has left, if any credibility at all. Perhaps very little, tiny little bit, but this is a huge blow to whatever is left, that tiny little bit. It pretty much destroys all credibility that's by some miracle remained, okay? Because even Russia's closest ally and supporter in this tragedy, mess, whatever, Alexander Vucic, Serbia's president, Serbian president. Serbia is always been a supporter of Russia, okay? Today he was talking to French President Macron, and he said he was made a mistake, huge mistake. He was disappointed. He thought Russia would be defending Kherson until the last, I don't know, man, lost until the last. But Russia just left it behind. And that's Russian closest ally and supporter speaking. Again, what our others are saying about that. So number three, it shows Russia's military weakness. For some reason, there was a myth that Russian army was invincible, strongest in the world, perhaps like second strongest, third strongest, but definitely the force to be taken seriously, very seriously. But this army leaves Kherson behind. What does it show? What does it say? It's not the first thing that happened, unfortunate thing that happened to, or fortunate thing that happened to Russian army. First, it left the Kiev region back in March, late March, if you remember. It just moved back without explanation. Then, 6 months later, it just regrouped, the famous regrouping maneuver. Regrouped in a great rush from Kharkov region, okay, and now it left Kherson behind. Same source as let's put it this way. Some source in Russian government leaks information to different Telegram channels and to different news, and there was an understanding leaked sort of that leaving Kherson behind is a gesture of a goodwill, and this is kind of a signal to Ukrainians: we're ready to negotiate. Let's start negotiating. Let's start making the peace deal. Well, my friends, I don't know what to say. That in Russian media space, it's been discussed. Okay, it's like they're considering it's a real signal. If you want to negotiate something, you negotiate it from a position of power. You don't just leave and say, "Well, I'm ready to negotiate." If you negotiate like that, you're gonna be had. Okay, so. This is just insane. So anyway, number three, it's a hugely important event because it shows the weakness of Russia's position. Army, politicians, it looks like they don't know what they're doing. It doesn't, it definitely looks like in the whole entire thing, but it proves that they don't know what they're doing. It just proves the point. And number four, I think this is hugely important because, this is the biggest thing. Okay, it shows that it shows the attitude. It shows the inside of the Russian government, current Russian government. It shows that there's a chasm between the government and people has grown so huge. And now the government doesn't even try to mask it. It used to try to mask it before. In Russia, we say making a good face while playing bad, that type of thing. But now they're just not trying to mask it. They just leave Kherson behind and they say, well, that's it. That's it. We left behind. Yes, we did. To save our boys' lives. It's not worth risking their lives there. And they don't explain anything else. They don't give the reasons. They don't say anything. They just keep on going as nothing happened. What do you think that does to us, to Russian people? I think even those who support, even those who believe in the right causes in Ukraine, they start asking questions. Today, they start asking questions. Because if they don't start asking questions now, when there? This is absolutely insane. Now, look. I would like to zero in into this a little bit. This is the attitude of Russian government towards Russian people, okay? Many times, Russian officials, including Vladimir Putin, said that these new territories of Ukraine that Russia occupied is Russia now. And Russia is there to stay. Never leave. Never leave. It will never leave behind the territories. It will definitely never leave behind people of Ukraine, okay? Let me quote one guy. And I did 2 streams on that before. And I remember it was beginning of May. Again, Kherson fell in early March. And then by early May, it was completely under control of Russian troops. And it was so safe for Russian politicians that they started frequenting Kherson, visiting. So Russian officials, Kremlin-appointed authorities in Kherson, in the Kherson region, they promised that Ukraine would never regain control of the city. I'm going to quote, Andrei Turchak, the Secretary of General Council of United Russia Party, went to Kherson in early May, and he said, I would like once again to say to residents of the Kherson region that Russia is here forever. There should be no doubt about that. Well, they asked Turchak 6 months later after Russia, forever is 6 months in Russian language. Forever is like forever, So they asked what's up with that. And he said, it's difficult to take a fortress, but it's not difficult to take a fortress, but it's difficult to win a campaign, whatever it is, okay? Then Vladimir Putin himself, you'll remember there was a huge celebration a month ago on the 30th of September when Russia all of a sudden in a rush annexed the 4 regions of Ukraine and proclaimed the lands to be Russian from now on. International community in Ukraine, of course, did not accept this decision. But in Russia, it's claimed, it's official, that Kherson, Donetsk, Lugansk, and parts of Zaporozhye province are Russia, with Russian law and everything. So Kherson definitely was part of Russia according to the Russian world, Russia. And Vladimir Putin said, I quote, I want that Kiev regime and their masters from the West, I want them to hear me. And I want them to remember that people that live in Luhansk, Donetsk, Kherson, and Zaporizhia are becoming our citizens forever. That was said not too long ago. Yesterday, on November 9th, Kherson was left behind. I was sitting here trying to, I researched the data, I researched the facts, and I refreshed the story of Kherson in my head. And I was trying to figure out what am I going to say about that. And the thing is, I usually say what I feel. And I am really confused. I am confused most of all by this this two-faced life that we have right now. People, very serious people, people of power, people of responsibilities, people whose words are, well, they become laws, people whose words are written down, and a lot of other people, not as important, not as powerful. They live by the words of those powerful people. So those people say things, and everyone cheers, and everyone dances, and everyone salutes. And then everyone likes it. And then not years after, not decades after, but weeks and months after, everything turns out to be absolutely on the contrary. So this is a completely different phase. They say one thing, they do completely different thing. They say Russia is in Kherson forever, and then they make an order to leave Kherson behind. And they don't explain, like it's okay. Well, we just left it behind. Let's go back a few weeks, not such a long time. And let's replay your video when you were saying, oh, Kherson, Russia is in Kherson forever. And we're leaving Kherson behind today. What is up with that? No, we don't want to do that. We don't talk about that stuff that happened a few weeks ago. No one remembers that anyway. It wasn't that important. What the fudge? This is what I am so confused about. This is different picture from my picture of the world. Okay, the world that I was growing up had different rules. Like if you say a word, you have to follow up. Your word is your contract. You don't have to sign a contract. You just say word, promise, make a promise, and shake hand with the person, and that's a done deal. That's my world. And now, and that was in Russia not too long ago. But now people say things. They make federal laws, new laws. And then things happen right after that are completely different. And the actions of the same very people who said one thing, now they do and say absolutely opposite things, okay? And they act as if nothing happened. I am very confused about that. I am very dismayed. I can understand when people lie. The politicians lie. They lie quite often. But I don't understand when they lie openly and they caught red-handed. They're not even caught red-handed. They just admit they do differently from what they said days before. And no one cares. That's what I don't understand. You know how Russian army announced that it was leaving Kherson behind? It didn't say that, oh, we're leaving Kherson behind. They said this was General Surovikin. He is the head of, he's conducting all making all decisions for the special military operation. And then he was reporting to Russia's Minister of Defense, Sergei Shoigu. And he said, well, it's too dangerous for our boys. We must move our troops to a different location, to the prepared positions on the opposite side of Dnieper River. Kherson is on one side, on the right bank, and, so the Russian troops moved to a different location. So no one said, we're leaving Kherson behind. But in fact, Kherson was left behind. So, and I wonder why no one is asking questions. Even this this way they presented their actions raises so many questions, but no one is asking them. Pretty unbelievable. Now, again, I want to emphasize, I think this is hugely important. I think this is the beginning of the end. Something's going to change. I don't know what it is. Coming back to my streams today, to my stream 2 days ago, the political wheels are turning. The situation is changing rapidly. TikTok is heard loudly in Russia on every single corner. Okay, the crocodile is here. It's searching for someone to eat. This event that happened yesterday, and it's still happening today, because I think the Russian troops are in the process of moving to this new positions. It's gonna take some time, and this is something's happening. Something's happening. Something's gonna change in Russia soon. Again, I don't know what it's gonna be, but something will be different. At the end of this message, I would like to ask myself, and I would like to ask everyone this question. On December 31st, 2021, people in Kherson and Mariupol, in Melitopol, in all the big cities, in provinces and villages, they were celebrating Ukraine's largest holiday, New Year's, as we were celebrating. I actually did the stream. I streamed for 6 hours and I showed you my family's celebration. Very personal stream. We were just happy. We were having a good time. And you know what? Ukrainians did the very same thing. In all the cities, in Zaporizhia, in Kharkiv, in Melitopol, in Mariupol, small, large, wishing for a good future that 2022 would bring them. Then on February 24th, Russian rockets started flying into Ukraine, hitting Ukrainian targets. Then Russian troops, Russian tanks started rolling over Ukrainian soil. Russian troops started advancing. And at first they advanced very fast. First few days they took Kherson. They controlled Kherson for almost 8 months. While Kherson was being taken, on the way there so many people died. Ukrainian soldiers, Russian soldiers, Ukrainian civilians. Kherson is partially destroyed. It has been destroyed. Real fighting happened there a lot. So imagine what's left of the city. City of Mariupol next door is completely razed. And now, if we look at the Kherson, Russian army, then comes September 30th, and Russia installs new administration, pro-Russian, and it announces that Kherson annexes Kherson. Kherson, becomes part of Russia, according to the Russian law. And Russia promises to never leave anyone, the new citizens, Kherson, the city, that land behind. Never. Kherson, part of Russia forever. 1 month later, Russia leaves Kherson behind. So what was gained? Nothing. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Why? Why did we do that in the first place? Why did we take Kherson? Just to leave it behind? To leave it partially destroyed? To affect so many people who live in Kherson? To destroy their lives? To twist their lives? To kill their future? Destroy the infrastructure of the city? Roads, power plants and everything. Why? I don't have an answer. I keep on asking this question, and it's driving me nuts. Ukrainians listening to this, please forgive us. I don't know what else to say. I have no clue. Thank you so much for listening to my message. That'd be all. I have nothing else to say today. I would like to turn on the comments so I hear your thoughts on this. You know what? Before I jump to the comments, one thing that can logically explain pretty much everything, give like some kind of a logical answer is this. That was someone's huge, tragic mistake based on very bad decisions, perhaps bad data, perhaps something like that. But then that someone needs to be identified and needs to be, well, he needs to answer for the mistake, for the actions. Because so many people have died, so many lives have been destroyed, so much property has been, I don't know, destroyed. And the economies of two countries, Russia and Ukraine, have been, I would say, at this point, it's safe to say destroyed. Ukraine will rebuild faster. Russia will rebuild much, much slower. So, mistake, but someone needs to pay. Lorna, Mommy, the usual suspects, Black Ed, Bob, Harry, Amir. Anyone else? Nightbot. The usual suspects: Dirk, Angelic at Live, Timo, Klaus, Carino, Airborne Snail, Jamie, Kevin, John Long, Grey Blue, Ironwood Workman. Really, really good to see you come back. Thank you so much. Please give me your questions in caps. Please put inside Russia after @ so they appear in large orange box and it's easier for me to notice. Thanks for a couple super chats. Rizus, $10. Russia is going to blow up the Kakhovka hydroelectric dam. I hope not. I hope not. If they do, what can I say? If they do, well, this is not human, you know. I hope they won't do that. Joan Sandal, thank you so much. Jonah Sandal. I'm bad with names. I apologize. You think that after the SMO is over, there might be an investigation about possible war crimes? Well, there should be. Might be. I think that the investigation will be done on the western side. Goes without saying. I don't know how it's going to be taken on the Russian side. I think it depends on the outcome of the SMO. What happens if the system is completely changed? Then yes, there will be. If it's not changed, but modified, somehow frozen, or then there are questions. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the question. Terje, Ukraine needs to get close enough to reach all Russia's river crossings with heavy artillery as soon as possible, so they can start bombard Russia's escape routes. There should be no escape. That's not a question. Okay. JT Truth. This is the same shame I felt after my country destroyed Iraq. The psychopaths that lead us do not care about human suffering. No, they don't. I also felt shame for USA destroying Iraq. You know, it was so obvious that Iraq did not possess the weapons of mass destruction. And the United States, well, it's not the brightest hour of the country that I love, the USA. 2001, the invasion to Iraq, shock and awe. It's one of the dark pages in the country's history. A lot of Russians, you know, they make an argument. That's actually a good one. When I say we start arguing, I say, well, you think Russia is doing a good thing in Ukraine? They come back to me saying, well, how about the United States in Iraq? Were they doing a good thing? And I usually say no. We're talking about Russia versus Ukraine. I think the United States did a terrible thing in Iraq. And they go, well, if the USA can do that, why can't we? You see the argument? It's just so freaking brilliant. Genius, you know. Russia needs to account for every missing citizen, and especially children. First of all, Russia needs to stop the bloodshed, withdraw the troops, stop all kinds of military activities, and reach to some kind of an agreement with Ukraine. That's number one. And then the work needs to start to be kicked in. So that would be the plan if I was the planner. Angelic Cat Life, thank you so much. No one started to care about their soldiers. I think something is afoot. I think a trap is a word that comes to mind. Your thoughts? I actually read the Western media and Ukrainian media. And the Ukrainians are very cautious about, they're not saying, oh, we've taken Kherson. And they're not saying Russians have left Kherson. Okay, they're thinking there might be a trap. Why I think there is no trap here is, if there was a trap, then Russian media would be screaming, oh, we left Kherson, oh, it was needed, blah, blah, blah. But it's silent. Like Kherson never existed, okay? Like it never was Russia. That's why I think it's not a trap. Thank you so much for your support and the question. Lionel, howdy, howdy. Stephen Armstrong, howdy, howdy, from Indiana in the USA. Thank you, howdy. Josh Judge, thank you. There is heavy fighting happening right now inside Kherson city. Right now, and Nova Kakhovka Dam. These are the only ways out of for Russian troops. I did not hear of heavy fighting. Well, of course, you know, I might be misinformed on this issue. I will report tomorrow. I will update you. I will know tomorrow for sure. As far as I understand, my understanding was that they must have withdrawn, they must have left. Otherwise, why would be they speaking about it publicly? You first go and then you announce publicly. If you do otherwise, I would simply start questioning the Russian military leadership, okay, for normalcy. Mira Luna, greetings from Germany. Guten Abend. Lionel Slade, inside Russia. Russia has not left Kherson yet. My understanding was, from what I heard from the Russian media, that they have left already. I said it. Tomorrow morning, I will know for sure. Tomorrow morning, there will be reports of the previous day. Leslie McKenzie, good question. Russia regrouping, preparing for re-offensive after the cold months. It gives time to restock. Good question. I would say no, because time is playing against Russia right now. The morale among troops is falling down. I doubt they will be able to effectively mobilize the next waves of people after people are seeing what's happening to the current people who are mobilized. That's one thing. Another thing is running out of, there are rumors that Russian army is running out of stuff, there are rumors that negotiations in Iran went fiasco. That happened there today and yesterday. So I don't really see how Russia can mount a reoffensive in the month coming up. Ukraine will have so much more weapons by spring. Don't forget, there was a deal signed between Ukraine and the United States. It's called the Lend-Lease, and it's a big deal. The Lend-Lease was signed in late spring, but the first supplies started in September, okay? And Ukraine's getting lots of high-tech stuff, okay? Russia, as far as I understand, it just doesn't. It doesn't manufacture itself, and it doesn't have any allies to supply anything with. North Korea, but I doubt they have any high-tech stuff that can help Russia, So I would say no. Jonas Sandel, what do you think the Russian people would accept a peace deal or a small win? I'm not sure I understand the question. What Russian people would accept as a peace deal? It's at this point, I don't even know. I don't even know what to say, because they would certainly accept the new territories. If Ukraine decided to freeze the conflict with 4 new provinces added to Russia and 4 provinces lost to Ukraine, that definitely Russians would accept that. But now it's impossible, because Russia lost Kherson. It was left behind. It was stated, hey, Russia is there to stay forever. Russian citizens, new citizens, they're ours, one of ours, and then we don't leave ours behind. 4 weeks later, bada bang, bada boom, and they certainly cannot do a peace treaty right now. They simply won't be able to explain, and I don't know what's gonna happen. You see, from now everything gets worse for Russia military-wise, and I don't understand what they can use as a good sell to the Russian people. I'd say they lose everything except for Donetsk and Luhansk. But doesn't make any sense, right? Because Vladimir Putin, for the entire world, he announced he was jumping out of joy, with everyone around. Everyone was applauding that, hey, Russia, these territories are part of Russia now. The province is part of Russia now. And they're not. They're taken away from Russia now. Anyway, it's very, very... I don't understand. It's Zunzwang. I don't understand, what can be next. What I understand, what I think is going to be next is Ukraine will keep on pushing. Slowly but surely, it will keep on pushing. That's it. There's no question about that. The previous question, what I think about there will be reoffensive. No, definitely not, because Russian economy is in collapse, and it's going to be buried. The collapse, economic collapse, will bury Russian army. I absolutely am sure about that. They will have to come up with new laws that regulate economy, saying, "Hey, this is a war economy now. This is not peacetime economy." All companies are mobilized, nationalized. Government runs everything. You must work so much for so little. Producing only bullets, guns, military stuff, and I don't think that's gonna fly because we are not in the war with Ukraine. We're the special military operation, right? Rudy Kaisley, thank you. I am experiencing prayer fatigue. I'm even praying for mobilized Russian soldiers. Well, thank you. Thank you. Because some of those folks who are mobilized are decent people, just confused. They definitely need a chance to forgiveness. I'm not sure what you mean by prayer fatigue, like you're tired to pray. I don't know. I pray every day. I don't have prayer fatigue. I will keep on going. Will it be easy to find the Russian wife now? Well, it's going to be easier than before. Riley Beatty. Why do some people in Russia call people that left traitors? Well, I was called a liberal scam today. I am not a liberal. I am a conservative. My values are very conservative. They are God, family, freedom, and hard work. But I was called by a fellow YouTuber, Russian YouTuber, a liberal scam. That qualifies for traitor. Why do some people in Russia call other people who left traitors? Out of anger, out of feeling helpless, out of staying in Russia, out of fear, I think, because they have nothing else to do. Just say just call us traitors. David, someone had a dream of empire that became a nightmare. Yep, you're spot on. That's not a question. There's nothing to discuss. You're absolutely right. It's become a nightmare. For the world, for Russia, oh yes. Ukraine, yeah, betcha. World, well, definitely world has not benefited from this whole thing. George Judge, there is fighting happening in Kherson city right now. If there's fighting happening, it can mean two things. First, there's a trap, which I certainly do not believe. I think that Russians just retreating because they're they can't hold Kherson any longer. And the second, if there's real fighting going on, then perhaps it's Russians moving to the new positions, and the Ukrainians are not letting them move. That's what might be happening. Again, tomorrow I will have more information on that. World of opportunity. Some need to be reminded what it means to be human. Hi from Croatia. Hello, my Croatian friend. Thank you so much, and you're absolutely right. Yes, S. Thank you. Well, thank you. Thank you for the support. J.W. Spencer, inside Russia, pay in rubles. Too early. I didn't get it. Pay in rubles what? Mana, how did the Russian soldiers end up Soldier end up with a live grenade inside him. Look, I don't know. You gotta watch the time. I watched the highlights and I kind of went through, and the procedure was shown as the news number one. Don't get me wrong. I think the doctors who did that, they're heroes because they risked their lives. They put on the bulletproof vests, and imagine the risk they took. Is it the news number one for the entire Russia for today? I doubt it. It's a local news. It's a local news about regular people who are heroes, but they made it the news number one. Okay. They're trying to distract our attention from real important things. That's what they're trying to do. I understand that. Some people understand that, but I wonder if most in Russia still don't get it. Pine the Chi, howdy, Supermod team following this from Tenerife. Darren Young, I'm glad you're well. I like the reference to the crocodile from Peter Pan. I think. Thank you so much. Tupac, West Side, Oregon. Iraq is better of now than when Saddam was in power. I don't think so. Not too many people actually know how Iraq was when Saddam was in power. It was not a religious state. There weren't any fanatics. I dated a girl, half Russian, well, actually half Ukrainian, half Iraqi, and she spoke. Well, she was born and raised in Iraq, and her mom was Ukrainian, so she spoke both languages, and she fled when Saddam, well, just before the Americans invaded in 2001. She told me stories about Iraq. It was actually a decent country. Yes, Saddam was a dictator. Yes, he was a bad guy, but was the entire country needed to be destroyed just to take him out? Duke of Earl, thank you. Say hi to your mom for me. Happy to see you with you now. Educators like you will help bring change in Russia. Thank you, Duke. Mom is here. She's sleeping. I am so glad and grateful that she made the decision to come. She's a hero. Thank you so much. I will say hi from you. Jonah, thank you again. You think Japan might use this SMO so they might get the land by, say, is there islands? You know what? If I was Japan, I would be certainly trying. I think Russia is getting to a point of such a weak position. It won't be able to say no to anyone. Germans in Kaliningrad, Japanese in the islands, Ukraine and the new territories. What else? I don't know. It's just the thing is Russia is putting itself into this position of not be able to come up with any arguments of such pressure, negotiations, requests, or demands. Demands. So yes, I think that's very possible. Blackad, howdy. Tell mom hello from me. Glad to see you with her. Thank you so much, my friend. I don't know, can I reveal your name here? It's kind of anonymous. But anyway, just let me know. Jason Carney, thank you for 10 people sponsorship. I appreciate it. There will be a live stream for sponsors and patrons only, so please come back on Saturday. My mom will be in the stream. She'll show up definitely. So please come and see. Usual time, noon. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. in Europe, Saturday in 2 days. Jason, thank you so much again. Lori Lane, thank you. Me too. Me too. It was a good day. It was a good day. Guy L, we didn't target civilians in Iraq. I never said you did. Americans did not target civilians in Iraq, no. But still, Iraq has been put upside down. It has come to a failure, okay? The order was destroyed and the chaos descended upon Iraq. There was a huge rise in Islamic fanatics because of that, and well, but that's a different story, okay? But then, Guy L, I never said that Americans targeted civilian targets. I've never heard of one single case when the civilian targets were actually targeted by the Americans. They were mistakes made, like a school was destroyed with the students in Afghanistan. But the thing is, what I really think was right is American military leadership would come out and say, hey, you know what? We made a mistake. We sincerely apologize. You know, this is what we're trying to do. We thought it was a bunch of terrorists, but, you know, we made a mistake. This makes it understandable and forgivable in my eyes, okay? So, Guy, I never said what you're saying. Don Walters, Saddam tried to assassinate Bush's father. Never heard of that. President Bush took us to war later with Iraq. Look, I cannot comment on the first war, the sandstorm, the desert storm in 91. I just simply don't remember. I'm talking about the second war, the shock and awe, 2001 or 2002, for that matter. That's what I'm saying. When Colin Powell came to the United Nations and said, we have hard evidence that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction, and the evidence turned out to be pipes. They thought they were missiles, but they were just regular pipes. And they looked and searched and searched and searched for the evidence and never found any. So I don't know anything about assassination and stuff like that, but I know stuff about 2002 and 2001. Tina S., thank you. Inside Russia, have you ever hear Ukrainians have interest in the Kuban of Rostov-on-Don? No. I've talked to Ukrainians and they say, we will not touch the civilians. We don't want your land. We just want our land back. That's what the basically Ukrainian people say. They're not bloodthirsty. They're not warmongering. Nothing like that. Okay. So I hope I answered your question. Liat Esther from Israel. Shalom from Israel. Shalom Israel. Thank you for your interesting vlogs. I can so much identify myself with what you say. My family roots are from Ukraine and 10% of Israel population are Russian speakers. Well, thank you so much for words of encouragement and compliment, and thank you for the support. Blackad, thank you. Thank you. Again, please let me know if I can say your name or you want to keep staying anonymous. Master Luke, why is Stalin so popular in Russia today? Oh, I am not glad you asked this question because I don't know and I am ashamed of that. I don't understand why he's popular. I don't... Oh. He's a mass murderer, okay? He's done such tremendous atrocities, genocide to Russian people. Yet, every time I go to the Red Square, you can see, like walking on the Red Square, you can see where his grave is, right by the mausoleum. there are always flowers there. I wonder if it's the ancestors of people who were actually executed at Stalin's personal orders. I wonder if the grandkids come and bring him flowers. You know, I don't understand. So I'm sorry, Master Luke. I'm sorry, but I cannot answer this question. It's one of the Russia's mysteries to me. Luke King, will this alter how Russians see World War II? Good to see you holding a bit better today. Take care. Luke, thank you. First of all, I am better today. This is a better day because I can't say that I'm unhappy that Russia has left Kherson. Okay, that's one thing. And the second thing, my mom came. That just makes a world of a difference. So it's been a happy day for me in general. That's why I'm doing a little better today. And the life is the roller coaster these days. One day I feel okay, somewhat good. Another day, boom, to the bottom. And then I slowly climb up again and fall down. And I take it day by day. I don't know how I'm going to feel tomorrow. Unfortunately, I was always more emotionally stable, always. Never had any problems with emotions going up and down and gosh. Anyway, so your main question, will this change how Russians see World War II? It definitely has changed my vision of World War II. At least one person has changed. I think majority of Russians will not think as far, will not think as deep, will not think as hard. But there will be some people, my estimation, just, 15-20% people have asked questions. And one of the questions is about, some of the questions about World War II and our role in World War II. So I think there will be questions, and I think there will be some opinions changed. We have a new sponsor, Gene Sanderson. Thank you to the Inside Russia level. Thank you so much. Welcome. A couple super chats. John Wakamatsu, long time no see. Hello from Los Angeles. Buy some more tea. Thank you. It's very, very much appreciated because I'm running out of tea now. I'm not alone. I have family members who also drink tea. And then when I was alone, my tea would last longer. Now it's lasting not that long. Fortunately, I found places where I can buy some. John, great to see you, and thank you so much for your support and tea fund. Agnes, great to see you as always. Thank you so much. Late today, no problem. Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for supporting. Jonas Sandal, another question. You are you have so many questions today. Do you think Russians will vote differently in the next elections? The simple answer is yes, they will. The not so simple answer is, will it matter? When and where will be the next elections? Who's going to be running for what? Tons of questions, not so simple to answer. But if the elections would take place right now, yes, I think Russians would vote differently. Well, that'd be crazy not to. But the bigger question is, would that matter? Would it be counted? Lynn Botsford, just read this. Wives of Russian soldiers showed up at Ukraine border and demanded to take their husbands home. Report says, yes, I've heard that. That's going to be possibly a different live stream. Well, things like this actually. There was another good news that I heard today that made me feel a little better. Things like that show me that there's still hope in Russians. If wives and mothers show up and demand that, it means that they have emotions, they have common sense, they have guts to do that. Then that's what the country that's supposed to be should consist of people like that. So thank you, Lynn. Thank you. This is very important. You spot on. Bob, the US did not try to annex Iraq to the US. Agreed. I never said it tried to annex. But my personal opinion, sorry if you don't like it, if you go against it, the United States shouldn't have gone to Iraq in the first place. I'm not sure about the Desert Storm. Perhaps that was justified somehow. But the second time, I think it was just a big mistake. It benefited very few people, and it damaged lots of people in the United States. That's what I think. Angelic at Life, no one started to care about. Oh, I already answered that question. Okay. As a huge support from Fear is Boring. Fear is boring. Fear is not boring, trust me. When you fear, you're not bored. I've feared quite a bit lately for different thoughts, for things, and it's not boring, unfortunately. Peace, brother, my friend, courage. Lift the foot, it will fall on your path, not the abyss. Hand on heart, body. Mine is, thank you. Life cares about you, and we do too. Fear is boring. Thank you. Very important message because you are spot on with it. Very difficult. Very difficult. Well, I've said it in the previous streams. I've decided if I feel bad, I feel like I'm about to break down on something, some things that Russian military does. You know what I mean. I'd rather not to do the stream anymore. I'd rather just take a day off and try to take it easy. I don't want to break down in the streams anymore. Sometimes it feels like life stops. And what I do then is I get up in the morning and I sit in front of the computer and I do the regular routine. And it's like being in a spider web. You try to move and there's something inside of you just reacts, like doesn't let you do that. You can't move, you can't work, you just want to sit there and just anyway. What I do is I take my foot and make a step and another step and another step, and that's the only way I can survive this time. Mom came. She was talking to me. She said, "You're not looking good." I was watching the streams like she watches every single stream. She said, you gotta stop it taking it so personally. And why I ask her, how, Mom, how can I do that? This is my nature. This is how I am. But anyway, I'm trying step by step. I lift my foot and I make a step. I lift another foot, I make a step. And it's slowly, but I go forward day by day. Thank you for your support. Much appreciated. And thanks for the message. It's even more appreciated than the money. James, why do Russians think Putin is a winner? 1.5 trillion is pathetic GOP given Russia's potential. I remember 90 when economists thought by now 17 trillion. I don't know. James, thank you for the support, but I cannot answer your question. I wonder myself. Russia is stuck in the past. Russia is only using mineral resources, was using when people, well, countries were buying and they're using mineral resources just to somehow to get by. Very few people would benefit greatly. That's it. Beats me. Jonah, another question. Thank you for helping me. Not all Russians are evil. From a Swede. I grew up with a fear of Russia. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for the questions. Thanks for all support. Thank you for everything. We never feared Swedes. We thought Swedes of very nice people, very neutral, very friendly, very northern, a little slow because of it's always cold in Sweden. Then the 90s came. We really admired your cars, Volvo and Saab. And just very, I worked for a Swedish company. We had a joint venture 50-50. I still, well, until recently, I was still employed by the same company, but the Swedes left after 2014. So I know quite a few former colleagues from Sweden, from Finland, from Sweden. Thank you. Thank you so much. Jen, thank you for information. Jan, not Jen, I'm sorry. Jan, or Jean. Gosh, I'm sorry. Mr. E, how about that? John B, hey, your streams are great. Just wanted to say appreciate them. Thank you so much. Thank you, appreciate it. And it's time to finish up. Sue Rose, thank you from Australia. $10 towards funding your movie and $10 towards your continuing to assist Russians who need it. Aussie Sue, thank you so much. You are the first person who funded my movie. What? I have $10. Well, since you funded it, I'm gonna give you the report. I've decided to change it a little bit, exercise the creative control. I've decided, well, at first it was one part of the movie, one idea. It was the Russians. The Russians who came to Tashkent, interview with 4 or 5 Russians. Their stories are so different, dramatic, But then I met a few Ukrainians here in Tashkent, and their stories are very dramatic. And I started talking to them, and 2 of them actually willing to participate. So I decided to do 3 parts. One part is Russians, one other part is Ukrainians, and the third part is Russians and Ukrainians getting together and drinking beers at one table. Like nothing more than that, but just like tolerating one another, just being somewhat friendly towards one another, and that's the idea. I'm still working on that. I started doing the first part about the Russians. Now it seems like it's the easy part, and the more difficult is about the Ukrainian part is also fairly easy. I understand how to do that, but the third part is more difficult, and I take steps to do that. This weekend is going to be big, so it's going, just slower than I want. Everyone, thank you so very much. Thank you. I want to wrap it up, and I want to invite everyone to pray with me. Thank you. Couple comments I see. Great idea, and cheers from Canada. And you know what? As far as I know, I have not heard of anyone doing anything like that, putting Russians and Ukrainians next to one another. I don't want to do anything dramatic, just like go over the top, so to speak. Okay, and I spoke about that in Ukraine to a few Ukrainians. I called and I kind of ran this idea by them. They said it's okay. A lot of people in Ukraine wouldn't like that, but majority would like it if we wouldn't show anything atrocious like, oh, they start hugging one another, saying, oh, we have, like, not too far, you know. My idea is just to make first tiny step, just to get them both at one table and just have beers together. That's it. So that's it. Thank you so much. Time to pray. Dear God, thank you so much for giving us our lives and this life in general. Thank you for giving us this day. Thank you for putting food on our tables. Thank you for giving roofs over our heads. Thank you for surrounding us with people who we love and who love us. Please help our children, keep them safe and healthy, and give us wisdom to raise them the way that when they grow up, they will make this place a better world and will never fight each other. Please help stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Do everything that is needed to be done, that is possible. You know the ways. Reach out, touch people, make the events happen. Please stop the bloodshed in Ukraine. Send everyone an angel so everyone is kept out of harm's way and not one single drop of blood is shed anymore. Please help every single Ukrainian who's been affected by this bloodshed. Thank you for answering their prayers. Thank you for making their wishes come true. Please keep on doing that. I know that you listen to every single person who talks to you, who asks you, and I know that you know every single person who is in need, who is in pain. Please help them. Give them strength to get through this. Give them recovery. Soothe their souls. Give them forgiveness, love, and happiness. Please help my country. Send an army of strongest angels with sharpest swords, led by Saint Michael, to remove and destroy the demons that have hijacked my country and send them to where they belong, to hell. Please make the angels run my country, make it shine, make it full of light, make it peaceful, righteous. I would like to ask for the residents of Kherson, for people who are advancing, for people who are fleeing. Please keep everyone healthy and alive. Work your magic and work your miracles, please, to solve this terrible tragedy in a situation in the way that you know how to solve it. I personally do not even know what to ask you, how to solve it, and what to ask for. You know, I'm just asking that people who are in Kherson and in the vicinity, they really need your help. Please bless those who help in Ukrainians, opening their wallets, their hearts, their houses, sending them financial support, sending them wishes, good vibes, prayers. God bless those people. Please help those who run for their life from unfairness. Please help everyone who doesn't want to be mobilized and running away from mobilization. Please help all the pregnant women who are trying to make the decision whether to keep their babies or not. Reach out and talk to them so the right choice is made. Thank you for bringing us together to this community and um, letting us pray together. Please help everyone who is praying right now, answer their prayers. Help everyone who is watching us right now, who is watching us pray right now, make their wishes come true. There are some people who ask me to be mentioned in the prayer. They need your help. They are Rafaela From, daughter Anna, Priscilla, Michelin, King Nero, Gabby Hyman, Martin, Joanne, Donald, Allison, Dave Moyes, Liz, Deborah, Isabel Legault, Janice Burgess, Maureen M. and her sister, Ariana, Terry Scrugg, Bruce, Kayleen, Michael, Bob, Jessica, Minutes to Midnight, Mr. Hansen, Heidi Howitz, Golden Griffin, Terry Carter, Carol Reed, Robert Morgan's sister, Jacob, Umel and Jennifer, Andrea, Rob, Ashley and family, Angelic at Life, Florian G, Cosmicio, Matt from Florida, Mr. Dean Spooner and his family called Our Savior Lutheran Church. His church called Our Savior Lutheran Church. Barry Reading's sister, Leslie Fleming, Lisa Cumrian, Adam Oliver, Ian, and 2K, Yelena, Natasha, Jake, Michael, Oля, Dasha, Sky, Bonnie, Galina, Igor, Buzz, Paula, Michael Milkowitz, Marlene, Susan S., Fiona, Paul Binns, Pritch's father, Rudy Kaisley, Mallory M., Dirk Misler and his dad, James Rhodes, Jess Terry, Brittany S., Lars Henrik, wait for it, Bridget Apley, Hannah and her children, Agnes, May Scott Nasbitt's sister, rest in peace. Our friend Blackhead, Cindy Braddock, Ace, Scant family grandson, Randolph, Vladimir Istomin, Grace, Barb, SC 2216, daughter Lori, the family of Harry, China Bill, Brian McManus, Verlinda Allen's niece, Doug and his brother Steve. There are a few children I'd like to ask you. They need your help, and their families need your help, your miracle, and they need you to show you mercy and love and help them get better. They are Cadence, Maverick, Sebastian, and Coulter. Please help them. Thank you so very much, our Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you, my friends. Another message tomorrow, Friday, TGIF. I will try to make it a interesting one. And usual time, waiting for you to come back. Thank you so much. And at the end of the stream, usual, Carthago delenda est.